Legos were my favorite back in the day. I used to love building with them, making stop-motion amateur animations with them using my 3DS. I even used Legos in a Rube Goldberg project back in high school for my physics class. Most of the time though, I was usually just building 2D 8-bit versions of my favorite video game objects. Speaking of which, game development, or even just programming in general, is a lot like building with Legos. Or rather, it's like making instructions to build with Legos for your computer. So, imagine you're building a cat. Just a simple cat. You can assume that all 4 legs are going to look the same and be built the same way. Well, if that's the case, then wouldn't it make the instructions all cluttered and a bit overwhelming if you had instructions for every single leg, even though you do the same thing with them? Wouldn't it be better to just write the instructions once and then add an extra instruction that says repeat 3 times? Yeah, that's basically like a for loop or a while loop actually. Or if you want to remember how to build it, well, you can always just refer back to those same instructions. And that would be like writing a method. See, if you write the same code over and over again, it's going to get really tedious. It's gonna be more work for you, it's gonna be more work for the computer, it's going to be hard to debug it. And if you're building a boss fight and you mess up somewhere along the way, well, this could happen. And that's why cleaning your code up and making it as readable as possible is important, so stuff like that doesn't happen. The analogy doesn't stop here though. Let's say you wanna build the Thousand Sunny and you just learned how to build the Going Merry. Well, the Thousand Sunny is a bigger boat than the Going Merry, but now you've learned how to build a boat, and the Thousand Sunny is another boat. So you could just take what you know from building the Going Merry, build a bigger version of that, and then add the Thousand Sunny's face to it and all the other stuff. You know what the equivalent to that is in programming? Generic inheritance. Yeah, you can build one class and then you can extend many different subclasses from it. In fact, Godot actually does this automatically with the nodes that it provides. Every node is an extension of the node class. So let's apply these principles to building a player character and then an enemy. So the player character would consist of running, jumping, and some sort of action or power-up. And those building blocks consist of even smaller building blocks. For example, the jumping mechanic would consist of a few building blocks such as the physics and the controls. The physics would consist of even more building blocks, such as the jump height, the jump time, and the gravity. The gravity would be its own building block that would be used throughout the game, but you catch my drift. The player character's run building blocks would consist of the controls and speed, basically. And the power-ups, well, it would depend on what power-up. For example, if you wanted it to be a projectile power-up, such as Paintball Purple, then the building blocks would consist of the controls, the firing point, and the projectile. If you wanted to be a dash attack, it would consist of the controls and the physics. Or if you wanted to be something basic like a jump boost, well, it would just consist of the physics. The controls would already be part of the player. Now let's move on to the enemy. The enemy would actually be pretty simple. You'd only need 2 big building blocks. Those building blocks being walking and hurting the player. And the beauty of this is if you want to create more enemies that do more than just this, well, you can just build on top of it. And that's where inheritance comes in. For example, this is a grudge. It walks and does damage to you when you touch it. You want to create a version of it that shoots bullets? Well, just build the bullet shooting function on top of it. Give it a projectile to shoot and give it shooting capabilities, and boom! You have your projectile enemy. Or in this case, a gunner grudge. Or do you want to give your enemy armor? Well, build the armor on top of it. and then give the armor a certain amount of durability, and also make it so that you can't break it unless you have a specific kind of ability. The possibilities are endless, you just gotta create the base. So yeah, if you ever find yourself having trouble with programming, always think of it like you're building with Legos, and that might just help you. That's all I have for today. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe.